I am so glad to be here. It has been a while since I had a chance to talk to all of you all, to be a part of one of these. It's funny because, um, as Blake was saying, we're going to have these matches today, and it's Web3 versus Web2. But everything I want to talk about is how Web3 and Web2 are coming together. Sorry, I jumped ahead a slide. So first, there's like just a lot of setting the stage that I want to do for everyone, and I can't take too long. I'm gonna have to go through this stuff fast, but and there's a lot to cover. But don't worry, especially if you're not a native English speaker, because everything that I'm talking about here is going to be published into the Wild Paper version 4, which is also called version final for everybody who loves to talk about how many versions we've been through. I kind of think that you would rather me be the kind of founder that is adaptable, uh, that is looking for opportunities to continuously increase the scope of what we're doing, the ambition of what we're doing, and can adapt to changes and everything else. So, although y'all give me a hard time for changing things, I think change is the essence of running a great business, especially in the games industry. So, thank you for those who have been on this journey with us. Your patience is about to be rewarded. Your faith in us, your belief in us. Um, we are very grateful for that. So I also just wanted to say, uh, again, this is just kind of accepting some more responsibility. I think it's very fair for some of our Web3 folks to wish that I was better at hype and marketing and just getting out there more often. But for those who know me and have been working with me for a long time, you know that my real focus is just on building and shipping great products, uh, and and connecting with the community when we're able to release those products. That's why I needed to be here today, because we are on the eve of shipping some big new things that we've been working on for 2 years, that I've been talking to you guys for about this whole time. And we finally get to ship them. And for me, I saw this tweet from another founder this morning that was like, one of the most satisfying feelings as an entrepreneur and someone who's building stuff is when you get to see the complete arc of what you've built come to life. And the wildcard game that we shipped last month was just a step in this journey. It was not the end of that journey. I've been telling you guys that this whole time. In fact, it was the beginning of this next stage of the journey. Launching the game was the catalyst for what comes next. For this strategy, this thing that we've been building, which I'm now calling the Wildcard franchise protocol. I can't promise not to change that name again, but I'll listen to all your feedback. And the important thing is we're shipping it soon. I don't really care what it's called. What I care about is what it does and how much you guys like it. Um, these pieces that we have been working on now for several years, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that story today and reveal some things that you guys didn't know yet. They're like Tetris pieces falling into place, and that feeling is so satisfying for me as a founder, and for our team, to finally be able to ship these things that fit together. So I I wanted to say I am very grateful for the patience that you all have given us. This journey, I think, is longer than some Web3 folks would like. I know in Web3 we tend to prefer things that move fast. Game development is not as fast as some people would like, and especially Web3 game development, where we're trying to bring these two worlds of Web2 and Web3 together. But we finally get to do that now because we shipped the game. This is such a big deal because the game is it's the catalyst for everything that comes next. It is the heart of what we've been building around, and the fact that it's now live, that you can download it, play it, compete in it, is what makes everything that comes next possible. So let's talk about what comes next. The future of digital sports ownership, what I'm calling the franchise, the Wildcard franchise protocol. I do need to say, if there are spelling mistakes in this slide deck, it's because this slide deck has been lovingly crafted by our art director, Jeff Simpson, who is my best friend, somebody I've been working with from all the way back in the Words with Friends days, so almost 15 years now, Jeff. And he is the most phenomenal art director and the worst speller ever. So if you see a spelling mistake, it's my fault for not catching it and pointing that out to him. Okay, let's fucking go. This slide is the highlight. It's the encapsulation of everything that's coming together that we're building and that we're shipping over the next few weeks. Between now and Chinese New Year, actually, is kind of the next big chapter for what we're doing. And it culminates, it crescendos on Chinese New Year. But this is also not new. So for those of you who have been here with us this whole time, folks like MFL, Greta, I'm not going to go through the list, actually. You know who you are. My most beloved community members who have been with us this entire time, who have not just shown up and tuned in, but have contributed to what we have been building. And their contributions, your contributions, have been recorded this whole time. And I'll talk more about that too. But anyway, for those folks who've been here this whole time, you know this already. You've seen me talk about this same thing over and over and over again, that what we are building is this connection between these four parts of the puzzle that are coming together. Those four pieces, as it says here, is the layer of competition. These are people that are playing in the game. They have incredible skill. They can express that skill, but to do so, they have to have a game where skill matters, where it's not just about farming. It's not just about grinding. It's actually a game with real skill, where skill matters, where you can express that skill, and there's an incredibly high skill ceiling. Like my first game that I ever worked on in the industry, going all the way back to Age of Empires. You've heard me say this before. A game that is easy to pick up and play, but you might spend a lifetime to master. Some of you now are starting to scratch the surface of how much skill there can be in Wildcard, but my sense of it watching our competitors is we're only just scratching the surface of this. You guys, I don't feel like we've even begun to unlock the most advanced strategies in Wildcard, but that's what's going to be happening now. So the competitors, the attention layer or component of this puzzle is where streamers stream the game, viewers tune in to watch. You've seen us do all these experiments with Thousands.tv, and now with what's coming with Thousands.tv on Kick. We will talk more about that later. But basically building this protocol and taking it to the other platforms. As I've said before, Thousands.tv is kind of like our test bed, the place where we experiment with things. And we're now ready to bring that to the networks that people are already streaming on, networks like Kick and Twitch and YouTube. And the last layer, which I'm going to spend a lot of time, most of the time talking about today, which is the ownership layer or the capital layer. A lot of the folks that are tuned in here, I know people that are listening to me and the folks that I talk to a lot in the community are really represented in this group. When we talk about Web3 users, generally this is what comes to mind for me. These are the people who are interested in getting involved with capital, are interested in bringing that to the table and want to really be kind of co-owners in this journey with us. I think that's the dream, is, and it's something that Web3 makes possible, is this idea that we're not just building entertainment and then shipping it and giving it to you guys. We are inviting you to come along on that journey with us, to share in this value that we're creating together and contribute to it. That's been going on for 2 years now. Ever since we began launching these systems, these experiments, everything going back to the EX campaigns that we're now on EX70, which is a very emotional moment for us to have the final one of these EX campaigns. Things like the Meta Oracle going all the way back to the Wild Pass. Every one of these contributions has been recorded on chain and has allowed us to build up this history or this provenance about our community that we now get to plug together with what we've created. So this is a saying that Blake came up with that I love, which is watch the action, which is about the attention layer of the game, be the action, which is about the competition layer of the game, and own the action, which is about the ownership layer of the game, or the capital layer. And finally now what we get to do is bring those layers together, thanks to the fact that we completed one of the most difficult, challenging, and important milestones, which is shipping the game onto Steam, where it's broadly available to anyone who wants to download and compete. That lets us bring these three pieces together: competition, attention, and capital. All right, let's talk about how that works. As I said, I'm going to focus specifically on this layer. I'm going to go back for a second just so I can, because just to give you a hint of what's coming, Brad is going to talk after me and he's going to focus on the competition layer. He's going to talk to you guys about how people are now going to be able to compete in the game and earn. And I've seen this being talked about a lot recently, which is interesting to me because it's just funny. Like when we're working on something and then at the time we're just about to start shipping that stuff, it's like this amazing coincidence. People just start talking about this, and I've heard this phrase "compete to earn" a lot now. It's different than playing to earn, because specifically it requires skill. It's not grinding, it's not farming. It is competing. It's real competition in a real game with skill. Anyway, Brad's going to talk about that part later, and I'll talk a little bit about the attention part and what streamers and viewers can specifically do to earn. But the part I really want to focus on, especially because I know a lot of you here are these users. You are our Web3 owners. You are people who have participated and earned and been gathering wildcard assets, things like the wildcard token, the wild pass. As I've shared with you guys before, my vision with this part of the game is to not just create something that works economically. That's very important. I especially now working in Web3 for several years, I know that the heart of anything we ship is all about the economic mechanisms that make it work, that make it make sense. I know we all have our spreadsheets. We all plug this stuff together and we do all the math, and everybody's got different versions of that. And if the system doesn't work from that perspective, none of this stuff matters. So this system is built on an economic engine that wraps around the competitive game of wildcard. It's why I'm calling it the wildcard franchise protocol. And yet, despite the fact that it's about these economics and these kind of, dry concepts, as a game creator and as a creator of entertainment, my job is to make people feel something. That's our job as a team. That's what we're here for. We get up in the morning and we build products that are not necessarily DeFi protocols or economic software or something. We build games, we build entertainment, and our job is to make our players feel something. So even with this part, which is, as we're calling it here, the capital layer, we think about the fantasy of these users who are interacting with the system and how we want them to feel. And the closest we've come to describing this is calling it the franchise mode of the game. So these systems, which I'm going to talk briefly about today and then are going to be described in the wild paper update that's coming out in a couple days before the AMA I'm doing next week on Tuesday, are designed to make you as the users who have wildcard tokens feel like true owners in this ecosystem. So I'm talking about, the Mark Cubans or Jerry Jones if you're in the West, or like I guess the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia owns Newcastle United. I didn't realize that until I was looking it up. I should have known that. Or LeBron James and Drake. You guys probably know all that. They own a sports team as well. That fantasy of being one of those owners is something that has never been accessible, never been available to people who are interacting with video games. It exists in the world of sports, but it does not exist in the world of esports. And that's what we want to bring to life. That's what we've been dreaming of this whole time. That's why at the first slide, I said it's the future of digital sports ownership. That is this engine, this protocol that we've been building. And this is the first time that's actually coming to life. This is also has been our plan for how wildcard is going to market. So you're going to see these things starting to happen over the next couple of weeks with the competitive mode, with competitors earning, with streamers earning, and with you guys as owners and now interacting with this franchise mode, being able to earn. And this is a brand new way of bringing a game to market. Not something I've ever seen done before. When we talk about this internally, we talk about this in kind of hopeful, optimistic terms that this will become Wildcard's unfair advantage. So if you trace my my own career back a little ways, the games that I've worked on over the last decade really have not just been some great game with great gameplay, but have also always had some kind of disruptive user acquisition and go-to-market strategy, something new and different that we were trying to be as innovative in terms of how we brought the game to market as we were in the gameplay of the game itself. So Wildcard itself is a very innovative game. It's a hybrid. It's a brand new genre. You all know that. But what I don't think people have experienced is this way now of bringing the game to market, of welcoming players and growing our awareness for the game, the number of players in the game, the number of competitors in the game. This franchise mode and this connection between Web3, Web2, and content creators is the heart of this strategy. I've told you about it, I've talked to you about it, but we weren't able to execute it until we shipped the game. And again, I'm just very grateful for the patience. I told you guys that this last couple of months was going to be all about Web2, and we're going to be very focused on that. And we're not going to be able to spend a lot of time talking to or focused on Web3. Well, now it's Web3's turn. It's your turn. And I'm so glad that we get to finally address and satisfy, hopefully, this audience, because you guys have been here with us the longest. Okay, so the way this works, and really, actually, just going back for a second, I feel like our job in creating this system is to make the wildcard token matter. People talk about this in Web3 like utility. They use words like that. The way I think about it is, for the wildcard token to matter, there has to be a real reason for it to exist, not a speculative reason, an actual reason. Like there's just to be this very simple story that you could tell someone when they ask, well, what's the wildcard token for? What does it do? You have to be able to answer that in one sentence. And the sentence in this case is, the wildcard token is how you play this franchise mode of the game. You use the wildcard token to acquire a wildcard franchise, and that is how you plug into the economic engine of wildcard. Okay, you guys are going to see more details about this when we publish the wild paper update. And actually, you're going to see this starting on December 19th. So we're just 2 weeks, I guess it's 14 days away from shipping the initial version of this. What will happen when this goes live? There will be the opportunities for you guys as wildcard token holders to begin to create franchises. The franchise, the size of your franchise and the scale of your franchise, or what we call the valuation of your franchise, will be based on the amount of wildcard tokens you're able to put into it or stake to it. And then franchise owners will be able to participate in what we're calling the offer window, which is a thing that happens every couple of weeks, where Wildcard Alliance makes offers to franchise owners in the form of USDC. And those owners can choose at that point. They can choose to take the USDC, cash out their franchise, and move on. Or at that point, they can instead choose what we're just calling their dynasty, which is, actually, I don't want to take that USDC right now. I'd rather take the ring. The ring is basically a permanent on-chain record that you were made an offer, but you turned it down. And from that point forward, your franchise gets a permanent buff that makes future offers even more valuable. So again, you're going to see the details of this, but the important part is these offers start soon and they will be happening every other week. From my perspective, this is what I'm focused on. This is where it's not about just telling you guys what's going to happen. It's about finally just showing you what's going to happen and how it works and shipping these features. So I can't wait for this. These will be significant, very meaningful offers. They will require KYC. So you can participate in the system as a franchise owner, but you have to KYC. That is just a requirement for any kind of system where we are sending USDC out. It needs to go through our KYC providers, which are Stripe. We have a partnership with Stripe now, and Paxos is, we're in the final stages of signing that deal. So I don't know if I should, but yeah, that's the plan anyway. We have several different money transmission partners that we've been considering and working with, and we're on the final stages of that with Paxos. A lot of you have probably gone through the KYC process already, but if you haven't, we will make that available soon, and you'll be able to take that step. No, I see our team being like, oopsie daisy. No, it's fine. I think we're like I said, the ink is almost dry on that Paxos on that Paxos um, contract. Okay, so the next thing that is extremely important to me is that as we launch finally this wildcard franchise program and protocol, that we reward everyone who has been a part of this journey with us, going back till to the first moments that we ever started recording anything, which was, oh my gosh, I think back in 2023 or 2022. I'm gonna have to go look at what the earliest records are, but I'm talking about the moments when people were first joining our town halls and AMAs, started to get some of those badges, those OATs, if you guys remember that stuff that we used to do. And that has all grown and snowballed. That turned into Wild Pass ownership, that turned into EX participation. That's recently been with Meta Oracle Forecast. And of course, EXs are still going on, although this is the last one, which is sad and emotional moment for all of us. This program that we're launching alongside the Wildcard Franchise Protocol, I'm just calling the Charter Program. And the goal is to honor every person who has contributed to this journey of us getting here, which is why I put on here honoring history. I hope that when we launch this in a few weeks, that the people who are on the receiving end of this, which is pretty much everyone, most of you here, a lot of you have been with us for a long time. I can see your wallets. I can see that you've been interacting with us for a couple years now. This is for you. And I can't wait to show you how this works and tell you more about it. But basically, let me give you a high level. The system, the Wildcard Franchise Protocol, gives franchise owners the ability to acquire assets that we just call franchise assets. And these assets increase your earnings as a franchise owner. For folks who have been with us on this journey and who qualify for this charter program, you will receive one of a kind, unique, never again distributed franchise assets that are permanent. Most other franchise assets aren't like that. They're things that you would acquire for like 30 days. And then if you want to keep playing, you have to acquire it again. And that's kind of how it works as a franchise. You have to continue to contribute to it if you want to see it continue to grow. But charter franchise assets that are going to go out to our users who have been with us in this journey up till now, they will be permanent. They will be things that no one else can ever acquire. There's no way to buy them. There's no way to trade them. They are just permanently associated with your contributions that you've made. And importantly, I just wanted to say this, that the more details will be in the Wild paper update, but we are taking into account things like when a user, let's say, contributed or spent time in an EX event doing rallies or buying skyboxes or things like that over the last several months, and then were received wildcard airdrops. Those airdrops happened at different values, as you guys know. Well, that information is tracked. It's all on chain. We know what the value of those tokens were internally relative to our other metrics at the time that we did that. And that will factor into this charter program as well. So for some folks who have been talking about, hey, I contributed earlier and, at that point, the price was higher or the value was higher, and that feels unfair or what have you. This is important to me and to us to help level that playing field and make it feel to you guys like your contributions at the time you made them and at the level you made them are recognized. So that's the charter program. More details about that getting shared very soon. Part of this, and I'm gonna ask you guys for feedback about this afterwards in the AMA, but part of this is the Wild Pass is getting what I'm calling locked in. So I don't know exactly how we're going to do this. There's still some debate on the team about whether we're going to have you guys burn the Wild Pass. Burning has a lot of steps. There's complexity to it. My preference is to actually just lock the contract at some point in the future, do a snapshot, and then say, okay, we're done with the Wild Pass. Here's the final set of rewards. we'll figure out exactly what's best for you guys and for us to make that as simple as possible. But just so you know, that will be happening in the future, and the Wild Pass will be consolidating so that there is only one asset for everyone to pay attention to after that point, which will be the wildcard token itself. Okay, this is some pretty important additional context. Sorry for going long, but hopefully my team is okay with all the information I need to share. So there is this thing that we have been building this entire time for a couple of years called Thousands. The easiest way to understand it is every part of Wildcard that touches Web3 at all is in fact not part of Wildcard. It's part of a decentralized foundation and network called Thousands. We actually created this way back in 2024. Okay, I say way back, I guess that's a year ago, but over a year ago. Like, it started about a year and a half ago. And the token, the Thou token, was actually minted over a year ago. A lot of you guys have been looking at the Wildcard token and trying to understand the strategy there, especially as it relates to our team and our investors. This has always been our strategy. The Wildcard token is the content token, the game token, in this case, the Wildcard franchise token, and the Thou token is the governance token for the Thousands network. Those two things are closely coupled. We minted this token in September of last year, and since then have been executing a strategic pre-sale that is co-led by Paradigm and Arbitrum and has 13 strategic investors in it right now and has raised $2.2 million. This network, the Thousands network, we describe it as a universal on-chain attribution network. It is basically Uniswap for attention. That's the easiest way I can describe it, okay? Like, and the reason I use that analogy is because Uniswap is a cross-chain protocol that can run anywhere and is about swapping coins. The Thousands network is also a cross-chain network with a governance token, in this case Thou, just like Uniswap has Uni, that is about transacting attention value, which is part of why it's running the Wildcard franchise protocol. And basically all the things that we're building on the Wildcard Web3 side are built on top of Thousands technology that's just been reskinned and licensed to Wildcard. So the important parts here, though, on this slide is that, yes, there is a governance token for Thou. Yes, there's a strategic pre-sale that's closed $2.2 million so far, and it's co-led by Paradigm and Arbitrum. Here's what that token distribution currently looks like for the Thou token. I need to say a caveat here real quick. I am not the director of the Thousands Foundation. Katie and I are advisors to the Thousands Foundation, and I am here speaking in my role as advisor. Blake is actually employed by the Thousands Foundation, if you guys didn't know that. So that's why he's here as well. Although, like I said, I'm just kind of acting as the spokesperson today. Well, one of the things that Thousands wants to announce as part of sharing these details and letting you guys know about the strategic pre-sale is the new program that's launching together with the Wildcard franchise protocol, which we're just calling the Thousands XP program right now. I might come up with a better name for it. The purpose of this program is to begin recording your contributions to the Thousands network. So this means that everything that's going to be happening with the Wildcard franchise protocol, from competing, streaming, and then owning franchises and contributing to franchises, will be earning Thousands XP as part of this new network that we have been building and setting up and distributing. I mean, this graph that you see on the screen shows you how that token is currently distributed. And there may be changes to this. That's why it says draft here. But the token's already been minted and distributed across our different partners and our investors. And that's why it was time to share these details so that we can launch the Thousands XP program and you guys can start contributing to and benefiting from this network. Oh, also, I think it's probably obvious, but the Thousands network was not just built for Wildcard. That's this whole strategy. So The wildcard token is the token for the wildcard game, and the Thou token is the governance token. That's an infrastructure token for the Thousands network. Thousands itself is built to solve these problems and to create this disruptive user acquisition strategy for a wildcard. But our hope has always been, our dream has always been, that in building this, we would create something that was valuable to other partners as well. That has shown itself to be true. So we're not ready to announce what those partnerships are yet, but you're going to see on the roadmap that in the second half of next year, that's when the Thousands Network begins to expand with these other partnerships, and where it starts to have other games and other IP. And it's not just games. This is this strategy of bringing together attention, competition, and capital applies to anything where competition and attention are happening and capital is interested in becoming a part of it. So this isn't just video games. This can be traditional sports or next generation stream sports. This can be all other sorts of IP that live in this world of competition, attention, and capital. And Thousands is built for that. So I just wanted to make that point that Thousands is not just for Wildcard. Thousands is a cross-chain, multi-IP network built for trading attention. It's a Uniswap for attention. All right. I hate roadmaps because you guys are the worst about this stuff. I want to share these things, and I want to talk about what we're planning and what we're excited to do. But I also ask for your grace every time because plans can change. But these plans I was okay sharing because they are as locked in as we can possibly get. And so I was like, it's time to share some more concrete dates. So December 19th is opening day preseason for the Wildcard franchise protocol, and really the whole thing, which we're calling the Wildcard Premier League. That name may change, but that is the reason it's kind of this broader name is the Wildcard franchise protocol is specifically for Web3 users. But when we talk about the Wildcard Premier League, that's the thing that brings together Web3 and Web2. So that's the thing that contains the franchise protocol. It contains the tournament competitions that Brad's going to be telling you about right after this. And it wraps that all together. That launches in 2 weeks, 14 days, on December 19th. We'll have opening day. And it's part of the reason that we're ending the EX series today with EX70 is to make way for the launch of this brand new Wildcard Premier League. Then January 26th, when we come back from the holidays, early January 26th, is when the season officially begins. So this opening day that's happening in 2 weeks, there will be at least one, probably a couple of events that we internally we're just considering test events. They will qualify as part of the season. So they will have the Thousands XP program running. They will have the franchise mode running. Offers will begin to go out. And importantly, people will begin to see their earnings. That's to me what's most important, because I feel like it's time for us to shut up and just show what we mean and ship these things. But anyway, those test events begin on December 19th, and then the real season begins January 26th. Not January 26th, January 2026, probably in the middle of, maybe early. And then these events and these competitions and tournaments that are part of the Wildcard Premier League will be happening every single week going forward. In fact, multiple times a week. Brad will share more details about that. And then we get to the next incredibly important milestone, which we have currently aligned with the beginning of the Chinese New Year to simultaneously, because that's a great moment of celebration, and also because our Chinese users are so beloved to us and important to us, and really a lot of our community is made up of our Chinese community. On this date is when we are currently planning for the launch of the Wildcard token. This will be a DEX launch on ARB1 together with our exclusive partnership with Arbitrum that you guys know about. There's more details to come about this, specifically around how liquidity works and the opportunities that some of our users and kind of what I would call our top franchise owners are going to be able to participate in this launch and earn from this launch as well. We will talk about who our DEX partners are for this launch and how that's going to work in the coming days. So pay attention. But the important thing is working backwards from when the wildcard token will finally be unlocked and tradable, Chinese New Year. And then looking beyond that is the second half of 2026, which, again, as the Thousands spokesperson, I don't feel comfortable sharing exact details, things like the timing for the Thou token launch and how that is going to work, and what the listing and launch strategy for that token is. You will hear more from Thousands directly on those details, but that whole process is really ramping up in the second half of next year, with expansions and new partners, and various strategic things that are happening to support the growth of that network and to prepare for that network's next steps as well. Okay. That's it. I've taken up 40 minutes. I'm sorry to the rest of my team. I just pushed everything to be long. But let's get ready, y'all. December 19th, welcome to earnings season. Thank you for all your time today. Last reminder, the Wild Paper final update that includes all these details and will be automatically translated into like 17 different languages, or how many languages we support, that will be getting published in the next few days in preparation for me coming back to answer all your questions in an AMA this coming Tuesday. So if you're not an English speaker, if it was trouble following all this stuff, don't worry about it. The Wild Paper update is going to have all these details. You're going to be able to read about it all, and then send me all your questions, give us all your feedback, and first offers will be going out soon. All right, it's back to you guys and Brad to tell us about tournaments.
There we go. Thank you so much, Paul. Yes, we're going to get Brad on here to be talking about the action part of this presentation. Now that we've covered watch the action and own the action sufficiently. As he mentioned, there will be a lot more information coming out about Thousands that I will be covering in the future. But most of this stuff that you'll see here coming out is going to be for WC Token. That is the thing that is upon us right now. So let's bring on Brad and listen to the things that he has to say. I'm excited to hear that now that I can be part of the action, and off to the races here soon.
So you think you can be part of the action now because it has been stated that you are a Thousands employee. Is that what we're going to do now?
Yeah,
is that what's going to happen?
That's how we're going with this. Absolutely. I'll see you guys on the 19th.
All right. I am going to do this quick and dirty, but get all the info to y'all because we got some games to play. We got some rallies to be had and stuff as well. But we are going to talk about how we are going to be the action. All right. So this is all going to start on December 19th. And then a larger portion of it is going to kick off in January. So hit me with whatever graphic production you guys want to start with. And that's where I'll start talking about this. All right. Wildcard tournaments. We are doing this in the game. There's going to be daily tournaments that you can win cash prizing. There's going to be weekly tournaments that you can win cash prizing. There's going to be creator specific tournaments that they can win cash prizing. The biggest thing here that we want to drill, one great game can change everything. This is not about being the best player. This is not competitions where you're going to see the top people all the time on the leaderboards and everything like this. There's a great scoring system that we're working on behind the scenes that takes in account all of the actions that happen throughout the game. Champion damage, summon damage. Are you taking goalies down? Are you capturing wild cards? Are you winning the game? And all of these actions accumulate a score for you. So it's not just about, I won the game, I did this thing. And there's a bunch of other variables within the scoring system, which we'll talk about and get online once we have some visuals to show that can boost those scores up after games and give everybody a really, really solid fighting chance to be in the rankings. It does not have to do with grinding. It does not have to do with anything. Again, it could be one game. You could play a million games if you want to try to always be beating your own score and everything like that. And to do this, we want to make sure that everybody that is competing in these has a fair advantage. We don't want some people to have 10 summons and some people to have 50 summons and some people to have all 250 summons. So we're going to be releasing the Season 0 Summon Bundle in the shop for the $24.99. It's going to get all 269 summons that are from Season 0 unlocked for everybody. You don't have to go grind packs. You don't have to do any of that. Just go get that. Then you'll get access to playing in all the tournaments with all of the summons unlocked. Deck build, experiment, have at it. We want there to be that even competition for deck building out there. All right. So that's all like the big majority of that is starting in January. All the daily, all the weekly, all the creators. There's gonna be a lot of stuff online. These are gonna run for like a full day, 9 a.m. Eastern to midnight Eastern. It's not like, hey, you got to show up for these 30 minutes of time to play. No, you got all day. Play when you want, play as much as you want. We're making this as flexible as possible for everybody. We really want to empower everybody to be part of the action here. So then this all is going to kick off with the preseason tournament on December 19th. So as Paul said, everything's kicking off then. The very first tournament is going to be there. The 19th, 9 a.m. to midnight Eastern. All right, $5,000 of prizing on the line. I'm not going to share exactly how many placings that's going to pay out through there, but it's going to go pretty deep. It's not just going to be top 4. It's not just going to be top 8. It's not just going to be top 16. We're going to go pretty deep with it and how many people are going to be able to earn some prizing from this and everything like that. So that's our opening day, $5,000 preseason #1 tournament. And then we'll see if anything else shows up in between then and when the season kicks off in January. But this is where we're going to get it all kicked off and try it all out. So hopefully we will see all of you there playing alongside everybody else, and we'll have a blast with it. That's it. I don't need to go too much more. Keep it nice and simple for everyone.
I got one little thing to tie into that. So as we roll this out, this is a heavily Web3 crowd. All Wild Pass holders will get this unlock for free. So if you want to compete in these things, we are going to make sure as a Wild Pass holder, you have access to this. You will not need to purchase anything. Okay. So
yeah,
if you're
and that's all the
holder,
summons.
we got you. Yep.
As long as you have the summons, you'll have access to the tournament queue. So
yep.
You have 250 summons. You got access to the tournament queue. We'll make sure all the Wild Pass holders have the codes to unlock all the summons for yourself so that you are not gated to not be able to enter the queue.
Yep. Boom. All right. So I think it's time to battle. I think it's time to battle already. So let's bring on our boys. Everybody get your game face on. I already got my game up and running. There we are. There's my teammate. Bring it in, Luke. All right. So I want to make something perfectly clear today. Luke and I set this up very strategically. All right. So we in